Okay.
But if it turned from MRSA to MRSA, there's nothing they could do. But that's how fast it happened. From Monday to Wednesday. By Thursday, I would have been dead if I didn't.
And this is something that's just like a bacteria on stuff.
Oh, it's on everything. You have staph on you all the time. The time.
And no one knows. Does most people know this, that you have like this stuff on you all the time?
No,
probably not.
Probably not.
There's no reason to think about it because 99% of it's harmless.
But that one moment, like you gotta know, you gotta recognize what storm. It is. Mm-hmm. So did that keep going?
No, go ahead.
Was that moment in time kind of like something where it's like, because I remember being down there when Dan had it, and Dan, he had it on his leg, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you're in denial when you're going through it. Dan's was he almost lost his entire leg.
Yeah, I remember that.
But
it was
at
like
the
a big
time,
thing. They were packing it with crap, and
I mean, they lanced him all the way down his thigh, and they left it open.
And this was just from a dude's. He played baseball. This is just from him sliding into second.
So what happened was they think that there was a piece of wood in there, and what happened was a pus pocket filled it. And when he slid the right way and ruptured the pus because they ended up draining out like a cup or two bigger than that of just pus. But he had all the symptoms. I mean, he had a fever. He had all the symptoms of being sick. I had just a swollen face. I had nothing, no symptoms.
So you had no symptoms of like, oh, this would be.
Yeah, like I didn't feel crappy. I just was like, man, my face is killing me.
So in your journey from.
Well, so then this happened. So after this, you're getting pumped full of antibiotics. So my face started to break out in like a beard of acne. And so after I get out of the hospital, I was at outpatient for 2 weeks. I had to do the stuff up my nose, like you said, because it colonizes in your nose. I had to do outpatient for 2 weeks. And then mom and dad brought me home for a little bit. I took a semester off of school. But I had this beard of acne and it wouldn't go away. Nothing topographical was helping. And I was like, it was all like this cystic acne. And so they were like, oh, like you just had your system pumped full of, it might be all the toxins coming out. And I was like, okay. So then I finally go back to the OB and she's like, man, your face. And I was like, I know. And she was like, I'm going to check your ovaries. I'm just going to check some stuff. So we did an ultrasound and she was like, oh. And I was like, oh. And she's like, she starts counting. She's like, she got to like 70 on one ovary. She's like, you have over 70 cysts on each of your ovaries. And I was like, what does that mean? She's like, you need to go see an endocrinologist. And I was like, okay. So.
And an endocrinologist is like
for your endocrine system.
Yeah, your endocrine system.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, what does that do? Like, what is your endocrine system in your body?
Regulates all the hormones in your body.
So is that the thing? Like, if you
you have like hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, you go to an endocrinologist. If you have like rheumatoid arthritis, what's the word I'm looking for? Autoimmune disorders. You go to like you can go to, that's a rheumatologist.
So is that the thing? But is that the thing that will release, like, it'll release adrenaline or dopamine or?
It's important. It's your endocrine system.
Yeah.
Any of the hormones.
So I go to the endocrinologist, and this guy apparently was known for being a dick. Excuse me. So he walks into the office, and here I am. I'm 26 years old. I'm all by myself at this point. He walks into the office. He walks right up to me and looks down my shirt. Okay. Didn't say like who he is, nothing. I was like, he goes, we have no hair on your chest. And I was like, oh my God.
Because that could be increased testosterone or.
Right.
Yeah.
So he goes, and honestly, if this wasn't going on with your face, I wouldn't even treat you or see you. And I was like, I'm Melissa. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And he was like.
He's looking at a Buick.
Yeah. So he's like looking down and he's writing on his prescription pad and he's like, all right. He's like, oh, so he said, he goes, you're not classic PCOS.